Today, we're diving into one of the most successful public health inventions of the 20th century, the Pap smear. You've probably heard of it, but this simple test has had a truly monumental impact on women's health. So, in this explainer, we're going to break down what it is, how it works, and why it's just so important.
To really understand the power of the Pap smear, you first have to grasp the scale of the problem it was designed to solve. Every single year, 500,000 new cases of cervical cancer are diagnosed around the globe. It's actually the second most common cause of cancer death in women worldwide. That is a staggering figure. But here's the amazing part. Since it became widely used, this one test has cut the rate of this devastating disease by more than half. I mean, that is a massive public health victory, all thanks to a single screening procedure.
So, where did this revolutionary test even come from? Well, to answer that, we need to jump back nearly a century and look at its life-saving invention. The test actually gets its name from its inventor, Dr. George Papanicolaou. He was a Greek physician who was a true pioneer in something called cytopathology, which is basically the study of cells to diagnose disease. His work way back in 1928 gave us the Pap smear, and it completely changed the game for early cancer detection. All right, so we know its origin story, but let's break down what a Pap smear actually is. It's a really simple concept with truly life-saving implications. Okay, at its core, the Pap smear is a screening test. And this is a crucial point. It's not really designed to diagnose cancer itself. Its job is to find precancerous changes in cells that could turn into cancer down the road if you don't do anything about them. Basically, cells are collected from the cervix and then just looked at under a microscope. Simple as that.
And to really understand the procedure, it helps to know the anatomy, right? So the cervix is that narrow passage at the lower end of the uterus. And this is the exact spot where the cell samples are collected for the test. So who should be getting this test and how often? Well, the guidelines are actually very specific. They're designed to catch any problems early, but also to avoid doing tests that aren't necessary. The screening really focuses on people who are sexually active, and that's because the main cause of cervical cancer is HPV, which is a sexually transmitted virus. That's why it's generally not recommended for individuals who've never had sex or for those under 21, because in that younger age group, HPV infections often just clear up on their own. Other things that can increase your risk are smoking or having a weakened immune system. The screening schedule is all based on age. So, for those aged 21 to 29, a Pap test every 3 years is the standard. Then, from 30 to 65, the recommendation usually shifts to what's called co-testing. That's a Pap smear plus an HPV test, done every 5 years. And you can typically stop screening after age 65 or after a total hysterectomy, as long as your previous results have all been negative. So what does the procedure itself actually involve? Knowing what to expect can make a huge difference. So let's just walk through it step by step. First things first, prep is key to getting a clear, accurate sample. For about 2 days before your appointment, it's really important to avoid anything that could mess with the cervical cells. Things like intercourse, douching, or using any kind of vaginal products. From the patient side, the experience is very straightforward. After getting positioned on the exam table, a tool called a speculum is used to gently open the vagina so the doctor can get a clear view of the cervix. The part where they collect the cells is super quick, and the whole procedure is usually over in just a couple of minutes. The cell collection is done using 2 very simple tools. A spatula is designed to gently scrape cells from the outer part of the cervix, and a soft little brush called a cytal brush collects cells from the inner canal. Both are made to do their job really gently and effectively. So first, the spatula is placed against the cervix and rotated a full 360 degrees. This motion gathers a really good sample from that outer surface, which has a technical name, the ectocervix. Next up is the cyto brush. It's inserted just inside the opening of the cervix and rotated 180 degrees, so just a half circle. This collects a sample from the inner canal or the endocervix. Getting both of these samples is what gives a complete picture of the cervical cells. As soon as those cells are collected, they're immediately put onto a glass slide and sprayed with a fixative. This step is absolutely critical because it preserves the cells perfectly for the lab, stopping them from drying out or getting damaged. Okay, so maybe a week or 2 later, the results are in. What do they mean? Let's break down the possibilities. A negative result is exactly what you want. It means everything's normal. Now, if a result shows mild dysplasia, that just means there are some minor cell changes.
These often go away on their own, so a follow-up test in 6 months is pretty common. As the changes get more significant, from moderate to severe dysplasia, the next step is usually more investigation, like a procedure called a colposcopy.
So what exactly is this dysplasia? Well, it's just a term for how normal cells can progress into abnormal ones over time. See here, on the left, you've got normal, healthy cells. As you move to the right, they become more disordered. And the whole goal of the pap smear is to catch these changes early, long before they could ever become invasive cancer.
If your results do come back abnormal, the most common next step is a colposcopy. Now, that word might sound intimidating, but it's really just a closer look. It uses a special magnifying instrument, a colposcopy, to examine the cervix, which lets the doctor see any abnormal areas much, much more clearly. So this is the crucial point, the big takeaway. The pap smear isn't just a test for cancer. It's a test for the potential for cancer. And its incredible success comes from its ability to find problems super early, which allows for simple treatments that can prevent cancer from ever even developing in the first place. The pap smear really is a powerful, simple tool that has saved countless lives. It's transformed what was a deadly cancer into one that is now largely preventable. And that leaves us with a final question to consider. Is this life-saving test part of your health plan?